All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out my Rich CELENZA show, WTF Are You Talking About podcast. Sorry it's a little loud. I'm actually driving in the car right now. I try to utilize my time a little bit because I can think clearly when I'm driving, and I know sometimes the audio isn't perfect, but I truthfully don't have a lot of time sometimes when I'm traveling to do the podcast, and I want to start keeping up with it because I'm also shooting videos as well for my Mastering Self-Confidence program, my YouTube. So I'm trying to juggle like all three right now. So anyways, what do I want to get into today? So I've actually been shooting videos. We're going to start a workout Mastering Self-Confidence program to help guys work out of all ages, younger, older, I don't give a shit. And one thing I realized with working out all over the country and doing different things with people is for one, is people always teaching other people how to work out what's supposedly the right, correct way and how to do a lot of movements or certain type of workouts, which took me a long time to realize that a lot of that is bullshit, I believe. Because depending on the type of person you are and what you've been through in your past is going to determine how to do a lot of things correctly. Of course, if you jog, you have your own way of jogging, sprinting. It's hard to teach somebody how to run perfectly unless you're going to start doing track, field, cross country, and you have coaches, right? Most of us don't have that. But I'm talking mainly in, like, say, a gym with even curling correctly. Some are very basic in general, but take squatting, for instance, or even deadlifting and all different things. I've had a lot of people, including my close friends, always, send me videos of them doing certain workouts, or them asking me to go work out with them and saying, am I doing this correctly? Am I doing this correctly? And I realized a lot of that, they're trying to do it correctly, and there is sometimes, I believe, a right and a wrong way to a certain degree, but there's also the way that has to work for you. Because I even realized with, like, some of my friends, they have lower back problems, somebody has knee problems, somebody has a shoulder injury. When you're doing these movements, you have to understand you're going to be doing that movement according to what's comfortable for you. And obviously you don't want to hurt yourself. So I can tell you how to, for the most part, how to do it right, or what I think is right that'll give you the best results. Again, I'm not right on everything by any means. But you got to realize when you are working out, make sure it works for you. Watch a lot of videos, I tell people, when you first start working out. And like I said, if you want to start my Mastering Self-Confidence program, I think I'm going to be putting them on my YouTube channel as well, some things that I do. I'm going to be shooting videos on all different types of equipment. And then I'm going to do a voiceover on it because I'm not going to sit there and talk into the camera while I'm doing it. It's too loud in the gym. So I basically do the movement, and then I'm going to do a voiceover. I'm going to kind of talk about the different grips that I use or different stances, what I've done since I was basically for the last, I don't know, since I was 12 years old. I'm going to be 50, so whatever that is. And what I've learned how to be, and here's the thing too with working out, man. If you're starting to work out or you're thinking about working out, the main thing I want you to think about is longevity, all right? And one is not injuring yourself, okay? You don't want to injure yourself, especially if you're middle-aged, guys. And stop trying to keep up with the Joneses, the younger guys in the gym, or if you worked out years ago in college days and now, you're not as strong, all this type of bullshit. You want to work out for the sake of health and to be able to work out for many years to come. You're working out for balance, I call it, and for strength and for endurance. That does not mean you have to kill yourself anymore when you go into a gym. I'm still pushing myself like a lunatic because I have some form of insecurity still. I used to call it reverse anorexiism, and it's no matter how big I got, I always felt very thin. No matter how big my arms got, I felt like they were toothpicks. No matter how big my legs got, I always felt like I had bird legs. And this must have been growing up around a lot of my Italian uncles. They're big guys, they were strong, and they say things to you, and they were very stocky, strong. A lot of them are fighters. They were in gambling, they would collect money, they're really tough Chicago Cicero guys. And I always wanted to be like that. I actually wanted to be shorter and stockier, which is kind of funny. Most people want to be taller, and I ended up being 5'10", I don't know, 5'11", whatever that is. I thought I was only going to be 5'6" because I graduated high school at 138 pounds, even though I was one of the strongest kids. But I shot a video yesterday at an LA Fitness where was I? I was in Dallas. So I talked about when working out when I was younger, and this I found quite interesting, is a lot of people when they work out either get really good results, I realized over the years, very quickly. Their genetics are just popping. It's working for them. In a month, 2, 3 months, you know what I mean? They're either losing weight very quickly the way they wanted, or they're gaining mass very rapidly, getting strong. But I'm going to tell you right here and right now, that's going to plateau. That's going to level off. I'm not saying you can't keep pushing yourself. You're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. That's going to happen. But I can assure you, there is going to come a time where you're going to hit a mark. And I'm going to flip this now. Let's take the guy, and I have a lot of friends like this, who actually come to the gym, work out very hard, and really don't get that great of results. They don't necessarily have really good genetics, but they get stronger. They just, their arms may not get nearly as big as they wanted. Their chest doesn't get as big. Their workout partner, they're excelling much quicker than them. Or if I'm working out with them, I'm trying to show them different things, and they get tired much quicker, or they just can't seem to get in shape, even though they push themselves. But then again, some are lazier too. And this has nothing to do with nutrition. I'm not getting into that or sleep. I'm just talking getting into the gym. But if you aren't getting, obviously a decent amount of nutrition or the right rest, no matter what you do in the gym, you're wasting your time, right? You got to have some strength, or you got to take care of yourself in and out of the gym. It's really about what you do out of the gym, I said, more than in, because you're only in the gym a couple hours, right? But you're out of the gym for 22 hours. So what you're doing, if you're going to party, drink, eat shitty food, never sleep, you're going to go in the gym. Even though you may not feel that bad when you're younger going in the gym, you're kind of destroying your body, and then you're getting in there trying to help it. But back to results. I could go back to myself. So when I was younger, I started working out very seriously at 12 years old. But my mom and dad got a divorce, I think, when I was around 5 or 6. My mom brought my dad a bench press with the straight bar. And my dad only has a few fingers. And he blew it up with a bomb. Whatever, it's a long story. And when they got a divorce, my dad gave me the bench. So I would literally sleep on the bench at like 6 years old, which sounds crazy. I just loved it. I used to see magazines of bodybuilders. This is even before the Arnold Schwarzenegger days. I know that sounds crazy. That's how far back this goes. Actually, when I grew up, a lot of bodybuilding or weightlifting was done by prisoners. And I think I saw a movie when I was younger in the 70s, early 70s and stuff. These guys in prison lifting heavy weights. I thought that was cool. And I always loved weights. I always wanted to be bigger and stronger. My father nicknamed me Tiger because I was always just really, anything I wanted to do, I was really just trying to be strong. My mom got a divorce and moved across the way from the biggest YMCA, I think in Illinois, maybe the Midwest. And we lived also near the Chicago Health Club back then. But I was able to sneak in these gyms, and I belonged to the YMCA, but we weren't allowed. We were too little to go into the weight area, but I still snuck in there in the mornings, afternoons, at night. Not a lot of people lifted weights. I could go in there by myself. So, to make a long story short, I started to lift weights really from like 5, 6 years old, but I started to really kick it in the ass when I was 12. I was allowed to walk in there, work out with weights, never stopped. I had weights at home. I was always involved with sports. Whatever I did practice, I'd come home and lift weights. I did my entire body part like an idiot. I would be doing chest, buys, tries, back. I didn't even know what I was doing. Every movement I knew every day. Wearing out my muscles, not even knowing. But when I got to high school, it was a little better, but I was still probably bench pressing. I think more than anyone else, my senior class are pretty close to it. I was hitting, like, for me, 185 for like maybe 7 for like 5 sets or something like that. And because we didn't, again, know what we were doing until I came to Florida for summer school. My buddy taught me how to do, chest and tries, shoulders, buys, back traps, things like that. And got me to start doing legs, calves, things of that nature. But I graduated high school, like I said, at 135 pounds, and I just couldn't get any bigger. Now, I wrestled for many, many years, and I think that from holding on to certain weights, I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't getting enough sleep. But when I moved to Florida to work with my father after I graduated high school, I really thought that was it. Like, I was just going to be this 5'6" guy, 5'5", 5'6", and 138 pounder, 135 pounds. I thought that was it. And I tried on, my father had a white Gucci suit, he put it on me, it dwarfed me. I couldn't even, it was just, I looked like a child in it. Now, I still kept working out like a man. I don't know what happened. I think it was a combination of eating out as much as I wanted, because I knew I never had to cut weight for wrestling, along with getting a really good sleep. So we'd be collecting money in bars, so I got to sleep in. And so if you're going to bed at midnight, 1, I was sleeping until 8, 8:30, 9, even getting a good 7.5, 8 hours every night, except on weekends when you get crazy. But with that and food, all of a sudden I grew 4 inches. Now, mind you, I'm over 18. I'm going on 19 years old right now, which is kind of weird. I grew 4 inches, 4.5, 5 inches, I don't know, and I went from like 135 pounds to 210 pounds. Everybody immediately said I was on steroids. They said this or that. I went back to high school less than a year later, obviously, to watch a basketball game. And I put my buddy's football jersey on from high school, like with his last name on it, and people thought I was wearing shoulder pads from the time they saw me to that time under my coat and the jersey, because I had a coat on, like a big leather coat. My teacher, nobody even recognized me. And the thing I was going to say about regarding working out is I didn't really get the results I wanted. Like, I would get good results and then bad results, and I'd have long periods of time where I was kind of stagnant. And I literally went from bench pressing, like I said, 185 to 7. Then before you know it, whatever age I was just repping out 225 for a warm-up. So I remember 225 pounds, I would just hit it 20 times clean, like it was nothing. It just exploded for me. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen with a lot of people. I've been very fortunate getting the genetics I got from my mother and father, which are incredible. But the thing is, I stuck in there and I kept going and going. But I felt, I eventually got up to where I was bench pressing, say, 450 for a few, mainly on a Smith because I tore my rotator's cuff. But and squatting 500 for reps like it was no problem. I'd go to my buddy's college and we'd start having, with the captain, I think, of their wrestling team or their football teams and all them, we would start having squat offs where who could squat the most weight. I'd go to their workouts. And they were blown away by how nuts I was. But again, I just was consistent. I think with working out too, you just need to be consistent if you want to get the results you want. And being consistent is a lot more than just, how would I say this? It's really about sticking in there at least 3 days a week. And a lot of people work out like 1 day this week, 4 days the next week, 3 days the next, take a week off, next week 3, next week 2, next one 5. Try to be a little more consistent in your workouts. I see that with a ton of my friends, especially the ones that travel. They travel, they don't work out. When they're at home, they're killing themselves working out. I think their body gets very confused. Or they do different types of workouts where I never did that as well. When I'm traveling, I try to be consistent so my body is consistent. It understands that it's always going to be pushed to a certain point regarding certain movements. It's not like I do weights at home and then I travel and I'm on a treadmill in a hotel or elliptical, which I see guys do. I'm like, no, because then your body goes from, it gets confused, I believe. Same with your eating habits, obviously, which I'll do a whole different video on eating habits, or a podcast. I think I've done that. But, just be consistent. Don't overdo it, especially if you're middle-aged or whatever. Just try to get into the gym 3 times, if you could, a week, I say. Try to do your overall body. So even if you've got to do chest by tries, maybe, or shoulders and back, or maybe back buys if you want to do shoulders, tries. I switch it up all the time. So your legs are always going to be 1 day. The thing I found awkward is, so for instance, if you do chest tries Monday, hypothetically, then say you do back Tuesday and traps, you still got your shoulders and buys involved. That's a 3rd day, and then if you throw in legs, it's a 4th day. And I know a lot of people can't get to a gym all the time 4 times a week. I do, because I'm kind of nuts and obsessed with it. Sometimes I'm even in 5 times. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday and take weekends off, or if you want to do an every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and then Tuesday, you're taking every other day off, then you can do that. But a lot of times people like to do 3 days a week. I tell them to start off. What I would really recommend is maybe chest, buys, tries, and then back traps, and then legs. Do not skip legs. Don't do them every other week. Don't do them once a month. Your foundation, I'm telling you, is your legs. Your legs, as you get older, are the most important thing on your body, I believe. Obviously, you need your hands to do whatever you need to do. But if you plan on walking and you plan on living to 70, 80, 90, I don't care if it's 100 years old, your legs are going to be the foundation to getting you to where you need to be and staying healthy. If your legs go, you end up in a wheelchair. Not saying that that's bad at all, because that may happen to all of us as we get older. But you really want to be able to walk for as long as you can if you're walking now, or jog, or run. You just want to have that fluency of life, because a lot of walking is where you're building up your cardio. It's a lot of where you're having your balance. It's where a lot of your mass muscle is in your lower part of your body. Your arms are very small if you think about it. And, your midsection's a lot of organs, and you have your back and your legs, man. Don't neglect them. All right. I really try to never skip a leg workout, and if I do, it's because my tendons or joints or knees or hams are pulled, or something regarding that has happened. And I'll tell you, I've been injured many times just playing sports, rotator's cuff, I broke rib, I've done a million crazy things, but I never stopped going to the gym. I know that sounds crazy. I had an injury not long ago where I was mountain biking, and that's not even my thing. I went with my cousin we lived in San Diego. He took me to this mountain biking place. I don't know where the hell I was, somewhere near Encinitas, I think. And we saw these big hills. I said, let me jump them. Of course, I'm a lunatic. I jump it. And I flip over the handlebars, and I guess I break 2 or 3 ribs. I thought it was only a few minutes long. I guess I was knocked out for a while. And I just remember looking up and seeing these big, beautiful balloons. And I knew the wind was knocked out of me, and I played sports my whole life. And I just putting up my hand like, let's relax. I don't freak out regarding that. I'm like, let me just chill out right now, okay? Let me catch my breath and I'll be fine. I'll stand up and we'll get out of here. I couldn't really get up. So he was going to run and get an ambulance. I said, no. I just kept laying there. I thought this was literally happening in 2-3 minutes. He comes to tell me it was an hour later. That's why he was freaking out. But he used to call me Superman, or he calls me that goofy Bruce Willis character from Unbreakable. And anyways, I was able to finally sit up, but I couldn't sit up. So I didn't realize I broke 2 or 3 ribs. To this day, we don't know how many. So he said, my chiropractor is literally right up the street from here. Let's go. So I said, okay. Because I said, I'm not in the mood to go to an ER. I'm trying to talk to him. He's like, yeah, but you can't even sit up. I said, I know. He rushes me there, and it's a big heavyset dude from Chicago. And I couldn't, he got me in the car. I actually was bent over the whole time, so I was pushing the bicycle. I said, I'm good. Let's pull this together. I'm going to be fine. I just need some time. I think I pulled my back. So I was hunched over, and I was going, and then I got to the chiropractor. I couldn't sit up, and he laid me down, I think, on my stomach. He was doing some things, and he goes, yeah, it looks like you broke, what did you hear? I said, I heard a crunch in this area. He goes, yeah, you probably broke a few ribs. I said, should we go to the hospital? He's like, all they're going to do is wrap you up. He's like, let me put some stimulator things on your back for a half an hour. So we did that. And it was a Friday night. His office was closed. He goes, I need you to come back Monday. I said, okay. He's like, if it's real bad, we might have to have you go to the hospital then. But he says, you're going to sit in the ER all night. You're going to get out of there Saturday. He goes, you're going to probably better off going Saturday. It's Friday night now. It's brutal there. Go Saturday. And then, I said, forget that shit. So I leave. I go to we go to our place, and I'm just literally laying. It was hard for me to lay flat, but I just laid flat. Didn't move. I do this thing where I just go my mind in the muscle, and I just kept imagining my mind building my muscle back and recovering it internally. It's a weird thing I do. I can heal pretty quickly. I don't know how I do this, but I think from playing sports my whole life or just being such a mental guy where I love putting my mind in the muscle, I just keep picturing my body reconstructing itself. So I was able, by Saturday night-ish, and I belong to a 24-hour fitness, I was able to sit up. First thing I did was walk right to the gym. I went in a sauna, and I went in a jacuzzi and just sat there and just fermented and softened up. And then the next day I could walk a little more, and I went in and did some legs because I wanted to keep blood flow. I'm all about blood flow. I started doing, I did, again, sauna, I think I swam a little actually too, and did some legs, because I always love swimming with the buoyancy if you ever injure yourself. So I was slowly but surely being able to sit up. I walk in Monday night, I think, later afternoon to go see the chiropractor with my cousin. And then he says, "What did you do?" And I says, "I don't know." I go, "I did this, this, this." He goes, "You went to the gym? Are you out of your mind?" Like, he was very upset with me. I said, "No, I don't go to the gym. I'm not saying I'm doing a full workout, but this is what I did." He's like, "That was very dangerous. If you could have pulled something, you could have did this." Because I says, "I don't care what you tell me. I know my body pretty well." So he says, "But I will tell you this, you walking in here and just your movements," he says, "somebody your age would have normally took a month to do. It took you literally 3 days." So he wanted me to write down my workout, what type of exercises I do. I told him I take 2 Flintstones vitamins. He was laughing his ass off. He was from Chicago, and he was actually a heavy-set doctor. And he wanted to know my diet and all this thing. He sat there for me for an hour. I don't even think he charged us. He goes, "I'm not even going to charge you if you can help me, gather information from you." And then I think I went back to him a couple weeks later. He was just full. And then again, my point being is I went to the gym every day. I was doing legs, even though I couldn't. And I was doing like, I can move my body a certain way where I could just do arms where I'm not hurting my ribs. And I never stopped working out. But there's a difference between working out the way I was working out and that working out. But I think what people don't realize is I think, need blood flow. A lot of it's obviously mental. You hear it all the time. But I see people get injured and they just all of a sudden they just sit on a couch for, if you injure your upper body, go to the gym and do legs, swim, walk in the water, do these things. If you hurt your knees or your legs and you're on crutches, that doesn't mean get to the gym. Keep doing upper body. These are just some tricks that I do. And hopefully they'll help you. That doesn't mean I'm Superman by any means. It's just things I've learned, and I don't think a lot of people think of these things, even though a lot of doctors or a lot of people may be like, "No, you need to, rest for 30 days. Most people I see rest for 30 days, they look like shit after 30 days. I don't know about anybody else. My cousins who broke their legs or their ankles, and I've snapped my ankle in tennis, and all these things, and I've hurt my knees, my joints, even squatting. I've pulled my lower back. I don't even know how many times, because when I was younger, I used to lift extremely heavy weights. And again, I don't think I helped myself. And that's the other thing I want to tell you is, if you're going to lift weights, make sure you don't damage your tendons and joints, And I've done that with my knees, squatting, and a lot of movements, just going too heavy, putting too much stress. You don't want to do that, man. Please don't do that. Don't get caught up in the gym. You have to be always the strongest guy. If you want to become a power lifter, more power to you. Just make sure you're doing things right. All right? But I want you to get the results. The bottom line here is, I want you to get the results that you want in the gym. And it's going to take time. And, people a lot of times say, "I want to look like this person." Or, "I want to look like that person. I want to look like you at your age," hypothetically. And I'm like, I've been doing this my whole life. But I tell them that doesn't mean it's going to take your entire life or 10, 20 years to do these things. But it is going to take time, most likely. The younger you are, I think, the quicker it goes, because I just think youth is involved. When you're older, your body has been conformed to looking a certain way for so many years. It's not easy to change that, especially if you're heavier. So if you've been overweight 20, 30 pounds for 20, 30 years, it's not going to be easy to lose that weight. And when you do, don't be shocked when you have skin that's laying over, your body's not as tight as it could be. But that doesn't mean you should stop. Try to do the best you can and get in the shape you want to get in that makes you feel good. And if you are heavy, and I've been heavy, man, I've been up to 250 pounds. I was 240s for probably 15, 20 years, lifting a lot of heavy weights, and the thinner I got, I was shocked the better I felt. It hurts the ego to be big and strong. It becomes a part of your identity. But if you're big and if you're heavy now, just slowly but surely try to lose weight. I teach that in my Mastering Self-Confidence program. Just losing a pound a week. I kind of go through how to do that. Losing a pound a week or gaining a pound a week, it's not about shocking your body. It's about doing things slowly, consistently, letting your body adapt to what you're trying to, make the changes that you want. All right, I'm going to leave it at that when we're at 25 minutes. So again, if you get a chance, check out my YouTube channel, Rich CELENZA, and also I have, like I said, these Mastering Self-Confidence programs. And I teach hygiene, fitness, fashion, and I'm going to maybe be doing just strictly a Mastering Self-Confidence program on how to help guys work out, especially guys my age. I don't want to hear any excuses. And be open-minded, man. Like, one of the things I'm realizing with this program is older guys, you guys are just so set in your fucking ways. And I know we all are to a certain degree, and we all have routines, and we all believe our own beliefs, and everybody else is wrong, or whatever else we think. But, you know, when I'm helping older guys compared to younger guys, I will say, you know, a lot of people make fun of millennials and all this. They are so much more open-minded, right? They really are, and they're just a lot more willing to change to see results, where older people, they almost want to argue with you or give up so easily. Like, just keep an open mind, right? Give it a chance if you're older, if you're middle-aged. Even regarding my Mastering Self-Confidence, trying to, you know, find the woman of your dreams, the middle-aged guys that have been through divorces or have been through bad breakups or whatever it is, they're just really, I get it, they're hard because of what they've been through, and they want to protect themselves, or they're exhausted, or they're mad about their past, or whatever. I get it. Or younger people, they don't carry a lot of that baggage. But man, start thinking like the youth. Start refreshing or rebooting your life. You have to do that. You got to be like a car to a certain degree. Let's kind of put a new engine in there a little bit. Let's get souped up. Let's start, you know, we can't be stuck with a car that's got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles on it. And you don't have that. You can throw in a new engine, like and start reprogramming your brain to start helping you think a little differently and start getting different results when it comes to fitness or anything, relationships or all that. I had to do it myself. So we can always learn something from everyone, right? All right. Well, take care, guys, and I wish you nothing but the best. And thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about?